this is not all Punk wrestling. This is all elite wrestling. Their names are on the damn title of the organization for a reason. We're not losing the elite here. Let's get one thing straight. The elite are not going anywhere. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, they're not going anywhere. Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. And we have some news today. At One Wing Wrestling, our motto is, we go where the elite go. I'm your host, Christian and I, and joining me today is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going. I mean, we are really going to be putting our motto to the test. We go where the elite goes. But before we get into that, which I should mention, as most of you probably know, what we do is we're going to, after we look at some of this news, we're going to provide our thoughts and expectations on tonight's Dynamite, which seems to have been rewritten to the extent that we used to think Raw was, what we hope for, what we think might be good or bad in our potential match of the night. We're going to go away and watch the show. We're going to come back with you to see if those expectations were met or exceeded. And we're also going to discover if anything in tonight's Dynamite reaches the all-important Omega level.
Yeah, we'll get into this in more detail very shortly.
Does Omega level have a new meaning now?
No, I think Omega level has the same meaning. I think a lot of things have changed, and we're going to get into it.
Yep, for sure. Well, there's a lot to discuss, so why don't we just get right to today's news, because man, stuff just kept happening today. So we're going to talk to you about the CM Punk, the Elite backstage drama, and I'm going to give a quick rundown of everything that's happened up to the point that we are broadcasting and the most recent information I've got. So bear with me a moment. So there have been rumors of backstage drama, as most of you know, between CM Punk and Hangman Page over Colt Cabana for a while now. The narrative is that some believe Colt Cabana's move to ROH was because of CM Punk. Tony Khan has publicly denied this. He stated Punk had nothing to do with the contracts. But the current tension seems to have started with Hangman's promo back in May. Page cut a promo to Punk's face right before Double or Nothing, the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, where Page talked about saving AEW from Punk and that Punk was essentially a hypocrite about workers' rights. So this legit angered CM Punk, but he got injured and was gone for a few months. But the second week he returned, in his promo on August 17th, Punk seems to have gone into business for himself. He called out Hangman to challenge him for the title on the spot, which went unanswered. He said that this wasn't, and I'm going to be explicit here, so pardon me, this wasn't cowboy shit, but coward shit. A little bit of advice that I suggest you take. The apology must be as loud and as public as the disrespect. But then when Punk was interviewed by Sports Illustrated, he just shrugged it off, saying he was trying to sell tickets to live events. So, he's trying to diffuse the whole situation, but at All Out this past Sunday, it blew up. Punk was at the press conference and someone asked him about who he did improv with. So Punk took this as a reference to Colt Cabana and it set him off on a long diatribe. I'm going to read some of that diatribe now, if you like. And this transcript is courtesy of Post Wrestling. I think that we need to put CM Punk in his own words here, because those words are vitally important to what we're going to talk about.
Just before you continue, a few reports have come out that the Punk's little rant that he's going to go on, you're going to discuss, wasn't prompted by anyone asking a question. He actually asked. So I watched it again. He asked the reporter, when the guy says, he's about to ask a question. He asked the guy, "Are you still doing improv?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Did you do improv?" He's like, "Yeah." "Who'd you do it with?" And that's where Scott Colton's name came up. So there was no prompt to this. He just was ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So what CM Punk says is, and I'm going to use the explicits because I think that they add the character. This is a fucking business. Why I'm a grown-ass adult man and I decide not to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business. But my friends, if I fall backwards, will catch me. Scott Colton, Colt Cabana, I never felt would have. My problem is I wanted to bring a guy to the top that did not want to see me at the top, okay? You call it jealousy, you call it envy, whatever the fuck it is. My relationship with Scott Colton ended long before. I had paid all of his bills. I have every receipt. I have every invoice. I have every email. I have an email where he says, I quote, I agree to go our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer and you do not have to pay anymore. That's an email that I have. The only reason the public did not see it is because when I finally had to countersue him through discovery, we discovered he shared a bank account with his mother. That's a fact. And as soon as we discovered that fact and we subpoenaed old Marcia, he sent the email. Oh, can we please drop all this? Now it's 2022. I haven't been friends with this guy since at least 2014, late 2013. And the fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put it into a media that I got somebody fired and that I have fuck all to do with him, want nothing to do with him, do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself for what? What did I do? Dave, and he was talking to Dave Meltzer, what did I do? Didn't do a goddamn thing. But this wasn't the end. Every time he kind of got the mic back, every time something came up, he kept going. And later he commented on the EVPs again. He said, I'll tell you why I'm upset about it. Because if you're an EVP, you don't try to middle your top baby face. Try to get your niche audience that's on the internet to hate him for some made up bullshit rumor. It really pisses me off. You're stepping on your own dick. I'm trying to make money, sell tickets, and fill arenas, and these stupid guys think they're in Reseda. Now, Reseda here, by the way, is a reference to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which has its home in Reseda, California. So essentially, he's accusing them of acting like a bunch of niche indie wrestlers. So that was the rant. And then multiple credible sources, including Fightful's, it's no doubt now that there was an altercation. They all reported a physical altercation occurred in the back after Punk's press conference. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, apparently, allegedly, we do not have factual details on this. That's important to note. Allegedly went to Punk's locker room to confront him. That's when a physical altercation took place with Punk, Matt, and Nick, but there is no confirmation on their end regarding who threw the first punch. Ace Steel arrived on the scene and got involved, and it's noted his wife was in the vicinity because she was looking after Punk's dog. Ace Steel and Punk, of course, are close friends. A number of AEW personnel split the two sides apart as they continued to shout at each other. F4W Online, which is Dave Meltzer's site, noted that Punk threw the first punches at Matt Jackson. Ace Steel threw a chair that hit Nick and then proceeded to lay hands on Omega and allegedly bit him. I'm going to say straight, this is 100% not a work. There were police involved in this. So Sports Illustrated. Now we move to today. Sports Illustrated reported this morning that CM Punk and Ace Steel will be suspended or let go by end of day today. In addition, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, Pat Buck, Chris Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler have been or will be suspended. There will be an internal investigation of the matter. Adam Page was not in the building when all of this happened, so that's why he's not suspended or involved. It's hard to get a real clarification on the incident itself because no one is allowed to talk because of the impending legal issues around it. To top it all off, CM Punk has suffered a serious injury that happened during his match with Jon Moxley at All Out during a tope. He's going to require surgery. He's going to be out for some time regardless, and this is all according to Dave Meltzer. So that's where we're at now. And of course, Dynamite has some changes as a result. So, Krishna, what the hell is going on?
So in that whatever you want to call it, his pipe bomb 2 or whatever the heck he's done now, he did say if anyone has a effing problem with him, come up and address it to his face. So you know what? Maybe the Bucks took that literally. I've got some things to say about this entire situation here. First off, Tony Khan, you need to get your shop in order. Okay, listen, Tony, this is your business. I don't care who the EVPs are. I don't care who CM Punk is. you are paying these people to perform for you. If they're gonna act like children, and that's what happened. Let's be realistic here. Everyone here, there's blame to be passed around, all around, right? But I think I made this comment just like a couple weeks ago saying these are just guys with ego problems, right? This was gonna blow over eventually, right? This something was gonna happen. Did I expect CM Punk to go out there and bury AEW the way he did? What I'm gonna go for it from the beginning. What was he thinking exactly? He didn't help anybody. And I actually wrote this down, and I heard someone say this as well. This is not all Punk wrestling. This is all elite wrestling. Their names are on the damn title of the organization for a reason. We're not losing the elite here. Let's get one thing straight. The elite are not going anywhere. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, they're not going anywhere. Now, in the press conference, you do hear Tony Khan mention Nick Jackson. He said, when I heard Nick say that, I should have stopped it. So it kind of does seem like Nick Jackson was the one who kind of alluded to Punk being the reason for Colt Cabana being fired. Okay. All right. Now, as adults, as the top star, as he calls himself, CM Punk in AEW, is this the way you carry yourself? You bury the entire company. Like, I actually went back and watched Hangman Page's promo, which we called one of Hangman Page's best promos ever.
Yes.
Right? We're like, this is the Hangman Page we want to see. What he said in comparison to what Punk said was so out of line. Like Punk, I'm like, Punk, are you kidding me right now? Like, if you're sewering this guy to the point where you just want, like, you're never gonna work together ever, right? It's
never say never in wrestling.
That's true, and I'll get to that as well. You know, I'm thinking about some of the things people were saying. So if you probably know about this, when Punk and Fox were getting that deal done, there were reasons why Punk didn't go back to WWE, and one of the reasons was Vince McMahon said, we don't want him in the locker room. So think about that. Fox wanted to pay for him to go back. McMahon said no. Eddie Kingston's promo, which he cut on Punk, which I thought was worse than what Hangman said. He said, nobody wants you here. They never wanted you here. The whole locker room is afraid to say it, but not me. So get out. Right? We got to remember these are things that, like, and even recently, Bobby Fish, who's no longer with AEW, called out Punk, and he says, you want to fight? I'll fight you. Like, I'll fight you for real. Right? So there's clearly, like, a lot of things. And again, we can only report on what we've heard through the actual people who are connected there, right?
Right.
But let's look at this. You look at CM Punk, and I know he's one of your favorite wrestlers. I get that, right? He's never really jived with me, but hey, we're all allowed to have favorite wrestlers. But you know how much respect has grown on me for Jon Moxley right now? This guy would Jon Moxley have ever done anything like that to AEW?
Nope.
No. And Jon Moxley went through some troubling times recently. And think about the way he's acted.
And think about to agree with what you're saying. And I mean, don't think I'm going to sit here as a CM Punk fan. And because right now I'm questioning my CM Punk fandom, which believe me, that today has been weird for me for that exact reason. I pour emotion into wrestling, right? It is one of my favorite things in the world. I have so much passion for wrestling. And when Punk left years ago, I was devastated because he was my favorite wrestler at the time. When he left WWE, I was devastated. I was like, oh God, no, he's not going to be there anymore. And that really sucks. I looked up to the man. You know why? He's straight edge. I'm straight edge. You know, I mean, I really appreciate people who can live that culture in this world where you have so much crap shoved in your face all the time, right? And to be able to do that, to be able to carry himself strong in an industry like this, I always admired that. But the way that he carried himself in that press conference, now, there's a reason I don't think Jon Moxley would do that. And he didn't even do it. He didn't fire the shots that CM Punk did going out the door of WWE either. If you go back and listen to the podcast where he talks about his issues with WWE, he talks about some of the silly stuff he had to do, etc. But he never really, like, he didn't completely burn the bridge into oblivion. No. You know, he may have taken a good sledgehammer to large portions of the bridge, but he didn't burn it into oblivion. But what really stuck out for me was CM Punk. What really stuck out for me, and this is where, in all honesty, and I'm not saying this in a patronizing way or anything, dude, get some help. Because your issues with Colt Cabana out of your own mouth were over in 2014. Okay? If you had nothing to do with what happened to Colt Cabana in the company, then all you needed to do was continue to say, I had nothing to do with that, and Tony Khan will have his back, which he did. Tony Khan came out and said, Punk had nothing to do with it. And like Tony Khan admitted,
right away.
My role in this, I should have said something to Nick out of the gate. Right? Great. But what Punk did was take himself back to 2014, 2013 again, and relive that crap in his head again, pour his poison out again, because he is allowing his mind to be controlled by all the people around him. He gets himself worked up into a fiery rant because he has not yet dealt with those issues himself. His demons are deep as hell, and I could see it all over him watching him in that press conference. You can just tell he's got the shields down. He's got the attitude out a mile long, right? It's like, dude, ouch. Like I could feel the pain in there that he has not dealt with those resentments towards Colt Cabana yet. Right? He has drank that poison and drank it and drank it and drank it, and he's just vomiting it all over AEW at this point. Right? The man needs to actually work through those demons. I don't think he can be in the wrestling industry until those demons are dealt with, honestly. Punk, I love you, man. You have been one of my favorite wrestlers for years. You've given me some of my greatest moments that I've watched in professional wrestling. But I don't want you in the AEW locker room or in any locker room until you get your shit handled mentally. I don't care if Colt Cabana still has a mental issue. I don't care if the Young Bucks are playing like run around rumor boys in the background, right? That's on them, and I'll get to them in a bit. But Punk, the onus on you is to take care of yourself, not worry about the media, not worry about what the Bucks are saying in the back. The only person that you can control, the only person that you have any power over is you and your reactions. Take responsibility for your role in what happened and get help, please.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, John Wassley cutting his promo, I guess he almost was like Nostradamus, where when he said, you know, you should take time to really enjoy CM Punk while he's here, because he's not going to be here much longer. Fragile mind, fragile ego, fragile body, right?
Yep.
And you look at all these things, and there are things that need to happen. There are things that need to happen. First of all, as I said earlier, Tony Khan, take control of your room. Secondly, and this goes for everyone. If they don't want to be here, Tony, you know what? Don't let them off. Freeze their contracts. Don't pay them. Let them wait until their contracts expire, because they want to act like children. Guess what? You're the boss. You can do what the hell you want, okay? Secondly, strip them all of their titles. All of them. Take away the trios. Take away the World Championship, although the World Championship's going to go away anyways because Punk is hurt. Give the championship back to Mox and give the trios to the Dark Order. Let them start storyline somewhere, because you know what? They were second, they were runners up, I guess you would call it. So give them their titles and make the Bucks, again, as I said, the Bucks are not going anywhere. This is not going to hurt them. Let them start again. Let them start with what's going to hurt today is not getting the Elite on TV. That's what's going to hurt, right? Yep. And I think the fans are the ones suffering for this because everyone acted like children here.
That is your best point, because who's really hurting? I'm the one sitting here today going, man, all this stuff. I mean, how excited were you and I when AEW started? How excited were we for this locker room? I wrote an article way back when it started about the differences between WWE and AEW. And one of the main ones that I wrote about was the locker room. The locker room. What the hell happened?
I would say Cody Rhodes jumped pretty quick, Bill, when someone showed up at AEW. I'm just speculating here, but I would just like to point out very quickly he jumped. He knew something was going to happen, right?
Did he? I think maybe we might be reading back into that.
We may be, but this has been boiling over for a while now, right? These guys came in here, whatever. So, you know, the weird thing is that what the internet was supposed to be talking about was MJF's return.
Yes.
What they're talking about is CM Punk's potential exit now.
Yes.
Right? You know what's going to happen? hey, MJF, go out there today and cut a promo on everything that's happened. Tony Khan, you can't run your shop properly. No wonder you need me back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Max Caster is going to be there today. Max, go wild.
Oh, there was a great meme on the internet today. A meme or a picture. I don't know. I'm terrible at this stuff. But it had Eminem writing, and it's like Max Caster preparing his rap for tonight.
And I'm going to end it with this. And this was from Sean Ross Sapp. He actually said, he spoke to someone at the top of WWE. And he said, if they cannot spin this into a work where they can actually make millions, then none of them should be talking about drawing millions, because then they're not smart enough to be in the business.
Right. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
There you go. Yep. So that's all I have to say about tonight, because I got to the point where I'm like, the EVPs. Okay. I know I'm going to sound like I'm defending the Bucks here. And maybe I am, in terms of CM Punk said, come, like, you see me in the hallway, come up to me. You have a problem with me, address it with me. Maybe they should have waited. They should have probably waited. As EVPs, they probably should have said, okay, you know what? He said his things. Tony, we need to talk. We need to get everyone in a room. We need to sit down like adults, and we need to talk. And maybe it turns out that, guess what? Punk's not a good fit here. And Tony can give his side, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Now Tony Khan is forced with making a decision on who goes and who stays. Right.
Yep.
So I don't personally see a way for Punk to stay, to be completely honest. I don't think there is a way for him to stay here. Because I think because Ace Steel's gonna be gone. We know this already. And if Ace Steel goes, I'm pretty sure Punk is gonna pick up his ball and go home as well. So
you don't throw a chair at Kenny Omega, allegedly. Throw a chair at Kenny Omega and bite him without consequences.
Well, not in that. So they said the reports have confirmed the chair was thrown by Ace Steel. It hit Nick Jackson in the eye. Whether or not, so he's apparently, Nick has a black eye. Reports, obviously, the reports saying he was knocked out. Blah blah blah. The pulling of Omega's hair and the biting. That what grade? Are we in grade 3 and something like? Come on, guys.
It's here's the thing though. The Bucks and Kenny are not just wrestlers, right? They are EVPs. That title carries a certain amount of behavior behind it that would be expected from you. And they did not behave like EVPs on Sunday at all. They behaved like a bunch of children on a school. Oh, he called us out. Let's go, guys. We say this about Eddie Kingston all the time. Omega, Bucks, wrestling isn't real. So don't act like you're a wrestler being called to the ring when some guy who clearly has lost his marbles and gone off on you. Yeah, it was public. Yeah, it was bad. But you're EVPs. There are ways to handle this stuff professionally. All you did was prove Punk right, in a sense, by going to his locker room, assuming that's how it happened, right? So yeah, I don't love the fact. I think they need to be stripped of the titles. I hate to say it, but they've got to acknowledge their role in what happened as well. But guys, I love you. I know you're going to come back, and I know when you do come back, it's going to be awesome. And here's the thing. People can knock you for being indie wrestlers from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or however the heck they want to say it, completely forgetting their own origins.
Exactly.
But the fact is, the reason why we love AEW, the reason why we go where the elite goes, is simply because we love that kind of credible, amazing wrestling that these guys bring. The creativity, the innovation, the things you can't see anywhere else, the kind of stuff you find in indie wrestling all the time. I'm going to say it, the Danhausens of the world. Look, even a Danhausen is welcome in AEW. Right. I mean, the guy is a comedy gimmick, but he hangs out with other guys with comedy gimmicks now, and it's hilarious. Right. I mean, all of this stuff, these people they bring in from the indies and stuff into AEW, it's wonderful. When the problems start in AEW? When they start bringing in the guys created by the WWE machine. That's where the problem is, right? The exception being Jon Moxley, because going back to what you said earlier, that man has earned so much respect from me over the last little while. The way he's handled himself, the way he's carried himself, the kind of champion he is. It's like I almost found myself cheering for him the other night in that match. And I was kind of astonished, going, what the hell's going on in my mind?
Yeah.
like I'm legit going, come on, Mox, pull it off. Right? Wow. Anyway, so yeah, that's how much he's won me over in the last little while. So yeah, it's been a rough day, but wrestling, the people you love, the things you love, will not always be peachy keen.
Yeah.
So, as long as this isn't like the MCU and the destruction it's going through with Phase 4, we can completely handle this. So, guys, I'm hopeful that everything will turn out okay. I'm sorry, CM Punk, you need to go get help. Brandon Cutler, I will miss you.
Yeah, I'm just, again, I'm just shocked by the whole situation, the suspensions, everything.
Yeah.
I knew so, like the minute, like the funny part was, well, we watched the show, but we didn't watch the press conference. We did our show this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So this had happened, but we didn't have any inkling of it. And the weird part is that after we recorded, I decided, oh yeah, let me watch the press conference, and I started watching, and I'm like, what am I watching right now?
Yeah, I know. I started
Is this
getting
a
those
shoot?
messages from you. I'm
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
You got to watch this.
Is this a work? I was like, what is going on right now?
Mhm.
And then I could not believe what he was saying about, like, and calling people by name.
Yeah.
Listen, I
Yeah.
get it. You're upset with Cole Cabana. I get it. You're upset with Hangman Page. Be a professional about it. You're calling yourself a professional, and this is the way you're acting.
Yep.
Really, like I could not, but like, again, as I said, CM Punk has not been my favorite wrestler, but I respected him.
Mhm.
After what I saw to, like, on Monday, which happened on Sunday evening, or Monday morning, I should say. I don't know, man. This some like the rumors about, CM Punk being a cancer in the dressing room, stuff like that. He kind of confirmed those to the world all at once. Why? Because the wrestling reporters who were reporting all the rumors and stuff like that were there, and he was like, nope, this is my shot. I got to take it now. And
Yeah.
Back to Tony Khan. I get it. Tony doesn't want to stop anybody or free. You know what? I looked at this and I was like, is this why Vince implemented promos, like written promos? Is this why he did these things? Because these things could happen. These things could potentially happen. If you give guys the mics with free reign and no concern with what the repercussions are, this is what's going to happen.
Yep.
Right? And as crazy as Vince was, some of the things he did is making a lot of sense now, right? And it's so weird. Triple H is taking over WWE's block room. Everyone's so happy and stuff like that. And a total 180. AEW has become a disaster, right? And again, Dave Meltzer reporting that, or Sean Ross Sapp's reporting from Fightful that, from what he's been hearing, 95% of the locker room is backing the elites against Punk.
Well, think about it. The elite were able to take their idea and turn it into a wrestling company. People are saying, oh, they shouldn't be EVPs, and oh, they should be fired too because of what's happened. It's like, do you guys understand who created AEW? Honestly,
Yeah.
Who created it? Whose idea it was? Who got the original all in done?
Yeah.
It was these guys.
Yeah.
These guys
Exactly.
are the heart and soul of AEW,
yep.
right? Now they've added some wonderful pieces around them. They're not the only heart anymore. They've got some beautiful and wonderful pieces around them that are amazing to watch and fun to watch and are integral. I can quite happily live without CM Punk on this show now. No problem. No problem. And in fact, if that solves the locker room and gets us back on track and gets us this to become the best wrestling promotion in the world again, then I am all over it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm with you here. I am more to the like, I believe that apologies can happen. I know that it seems that we're past that, but I strongly believe that, you know what? People make mistakes. We're human. We make mistakes. Apologies can happen. Now, I'm not talking about apologies between Cole Cabana and CM Punk, but the elites and CM Punk. It's to the point where, listen, these things can be worked out, right? And Tony Khan can simply say either you work it out or you no longer work here, right? It's your decision, right? Obviously he's not gonna let the lead go, but you know what I mean, right? So I strongly believe that that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But as we saw on Sunday or Monday, egos get in the way. And when you have a huge ego and you have a sense of entitlement, guess what? You don't see straight, right?
Well,
and that's it.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, if he gets the help he needs to get rid of those demons that are like decades old at this point in his head, yeah, there's definitely a chance they can, because I don't think that if it was sincere and legitimate, I don't think that the elite are going to say, oh no, go screw yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like it's if look, Brett and Sean hugged in a ring.
That's true.
Okay. They buried their hatchet. Maybe not perfectly buried, but they still buried it enough. You know what I mean? And if they can bury a hatchet after all the stuff that they said about each other, yeah, this is definitely salvageable in the long run. And like you said before, if AEW cannot turn this into some kind of thing, it doesn't even have to involve CM Punk, but they could certainly turn it into something and make money off of it. I would be very shocked.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
But like you also said, you did mention, releases coming out of this. And also today, buried under the other news, Dave Meltzer reported that it seems that Malachi Black has been granted a highly conditional release. Now, the conditions are completely unknown, but it looks like he has been granted a highly conditional release.
Yeah, I'm happy for this one because we know he's suffering through something. I think they poorly booked him and so forth. But besides the point, like he needs time away, and I like this conditional release. Hey, take your time, take whatever you need, right? Whenever you're ready, come back and we can discuss your future, kind of thing.
Right.
Smart move by Tony Khan. He's not holding him to anything. It's just you've been granted your release. So, all I got to say about this is, Malachi, we're gonna miss you because you were one of the coolest wrestlers we had. And hopefully come back. But the most importantly, just get the help you need and just get better.
Absolutely. I agree with you completely. And I think we're at a situation too where it's like AEW kind of went through a bloat where they just started signing all these guys that WWE let go and that they thought the fans might love because they were popular in WWE. I'm hoping they realize now that that might not be the ticket to the Golden Land. I'd love to see Malachi come back. I really would. He's one of my favorite guys that they brought over. Again, like I said with Punk, go get the help you need. Get your head in order. And if what you really need is to be assured that your creative will be there for you, then fine. And if that's not going to happen in AEW, it's not going to happen. Not everyone can be at the top of the card all the time. I do think that their push was handled terribly.
It was, yeah, 100%. It's been handled really bad.
They spent all their time fighting Sting and Darby Allin ever since Cody left. So. Anyway, yeah, so Malachi, get the help you need, and we do hope to see you back at some point, whether it's here or you never know, maybe you'll show up on the indies again. Who knows? But, well, that's the news. Do you want to talk about tonight's Dynamite?
Let's get to it. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Well, we have only, to my knowledge, we only have 4 things announced because they had to do some real changes based on the suspensions. So the first thing up is we have a match that was just recently announced, Toni Storm taking on Penelope Ford. No word if this is for the title or not.
Well, it said on Twitter, it said interim title match. So maybe
okay, so it is going for the title. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. The graphic I saw didn't have the title on it. But okay, cool. Yeah. Let's assume it's for the title then.
It's good to see Penelope Ford back. She hasn't been back for a while. Like she kind of wrestled a little bit on Dark and stuff like that. She's a good wrestler. She just really doesn't get a chance to even wrestle. So I'm glad to see her back. Do I think this match is gonna be good? No, I don't, because you're AEW, you're relying on Toni Storm to potentially carry a match. No. Penelope Ford is good, but she's not good enough to carry a full match by herself. So do I think this match is gonna be good? No. Do I hope it's short? Yes. I hope it's just a couple tornado DTTs and it's over and I'll be fine with it. I'll be like, okay, whatever.
Hip attack in the corner, yes. Tornado DDT, and the weakest pile driver ever known to humankind, and Toni Storm wins. Yeah. And that kind of makes me sad because I really like Penelope Ford.
Same.
I think she's solid in the ring. She's one of those people I wish would get more time. But no, this is going to be Toni Storm. I'm going to defend this title every week and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Toni, I don't care. You're the wrong person with the belt. Where's Jamie Hayter when we need her?
Yep.
Then we will hear from MJF.
I'm excited for this one. I really want to hear from MJF. He's got so much fuel for the fire now. Hey, MJF, I'm telling you, use everything. I want you. This is not the time for AEW to pretend nothing's happened, because everyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
Use it. That's all I'm going to say. Use it, and I'm excited to hear your promo tonight.
Yeah, you know what? Remember, I went on quite a rant about how they brought him back on Sunday. So I still hate the way they brought him back. It sounded like bargain basement junk, but now they have an opportunity to shift gears a little bit. They have an opportunity to do exactly what you said. I am very interested to hear what MJF has to say. Do I love the guy? No. But I think there's an opportunity here. And I am really curious what direction they're going to go.
How they use it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going to come out of this. He clearly has a heel stable behind him and he's going to get a positive reaction coming out tonight. So I don't know. What I do like, oh, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, Tony Khan tweeted 2 hours ago. Thank you to everyone who watches AEW on TV. Tonight, live on TBS on Wednesday night, AEW Dynamite, I'll address the AEW World Championship and the AEW Trios Championship.
Yes, exactly.
So something's going down today, so we'll find out.
Exactly. I think maybe that might be a good time for us to hear from MJF. Yeah.
Agreed.
So yes, and that was my final item on the thing. But if you'd like to address it, no, that's fine. Yeah. So Tony Khan will be addressing both championships. I'm assuming to strip the people involved of the said championships. So,
you know what I want to hear from Tony Khan? I want him to come out and do like a Vince promo, not a promo, but be real. I'm the boss. And if anyone has an issue with that, take it up with me. Right? Like he's too nice of a guy. And I've heard people talk about him and he really is genuinely a nice person. So, but remember one thing, Tony Khan runs the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a NFL team that's worth over $1 billion.
Yes.
He knows how to manage these things. So Tony Khan, you know what? You need to, remind everyone who's really in charge.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So I would agree. And I think that's a good spot for MJF to come out and interrupt. Then we have Death Triangle, Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta taking on the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Trent Baretta, and Chuck Taylor. And wouldn't it be interesting if this was made for the Trios Championship tonight?
Yeah, actually, that it would, but then it would make sense because these were the guys that all lost against.
Yeah, that's true. What about the Dark Order?
Yeah,
you've got a very good point there.
Yeah, right. No, this could be a fun match. I mean, I don't see how it couldn't be fun. I mean, this to me is probably going to be my match of the night. just like who's involved in it, so it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. I'm going to choose this as my match of the night.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also think it's going to be entertaining and fun. But I don't think it's going to be my match of the night because it can't possibly be my match of the night when we have a Ring of Honor pure championship match between Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia under the pure rules. I mean, for me, this is like a dream match waiting to happen. I cannot wait to see these two guys go at it. This is going to be my match of the night. And we got like the hometown boy, Daniel Garcia. Does he lose in his hometown or does he take that title from Wheeler Yuta? I'm going to go on a limb and say, well, I don't think it's a very big limb. I'm going to say Daniel Garcia will win this match tonight and become the new Ring of Honor pure champion, which he can then rub in the face of Chris Jericho. Yeah,
I have a feeling that's going to happen as well. I think it's Garcia's time and I think he's going to win tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, speaking of Daniel Garcia and the epic match that he's going to have with Wheeler Yuta, we also have Chris Jericho tonight addressing the AEW Galaxy.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that I'm really impressed with, like with their professionalism, Chris Jericho. Right? During the press conference, he came out and he was just a company man. right? Like, and he's tweeting that AEW is one of the best promotions he's ever worked with. That total opposite of what's coming out of CM Punk's mouth right now.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. So you have MJF coming out, you have Chris Jericho coming out, and John Moxley, and I think we'll talk about John Moxley maybe as well. But like, I'm very curious what these guys have to say tonight.
Yes.
Now, is Jericho's going to be more on the Daniel Garcia thing, or is it just in general AEW? Right. So I'm very curious.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And it was specifically stated as he's going to address the AEW Galaxy.
Galaxy, yeah, I saw that. I laughed.
So, yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, I think it might have something to do with the Daniel Garcia thing, but you never know. I mean, they've got to figure out where to go from where they are right now, right? A lot of plans have been blown up. So yeah, they're gonna have to figure out what direction they're gonna take. And I think Chris Jericho, I agree with you completely. Company guy. He's always been solid wherever he's worked. He knows how to be a true professional. And I think between him and Mox and some of the other guys that are there right now, we've got a damn solid ship. It looks like an interesting show. There's a lot that's going to happen tonight. Both in terms of figuring out the fallout from those belts and just watching some good wrestling. I mean, the fact that I love nights when you and I look at the card and we pick two different matches of the night, because that means there's two really good matches potentially on this card.
Yeah, exactly. There's two really good matches, and I'm a little peeved that the Elite are not going to be there. Kenny Omega's been back for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that's it.
I know.
Right?
And now no Kenny again.
Now no Kenny for who knows how long.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I know we've talked about this topic, and we're not going to stop talking about it because it is the biggest topic right now for a company that we love. But like with Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston. So Eddie Kingston apparently got upset when Sammy made fun of his weight. You're supposed to run these promos by. Apparently Sammy didn't. Do you know why? Do you know why Kingston got suspended? Because he went up to Sammy Guevara and he pie faced him, meaning he put his hand on his face and pushed him away. He got 2-week suspension for that.
So how long are these guys?
Exactly. That was my point. There was an actual fist fight where law enforcement got involved, where there are potentially criminal charges going to be placed. There's like all these things. So yeah, maybe keep these guys off TV till everything is finished with, right? And Tony Khan's smart. He's launched a third-party investigation into it, which is perfect. Find out what happened, like find out the truth before you make a decision, and then make it. That's it, right? So yeah, it's one of those things where inadvertently, CM Punk and the Elite has drawn everyone to watch AEW. I wouldn't be surprised if AEW breaks 1 million views tonight. I would not be surprised because everyone wants to see literally the fallout from All Out. Right?
The fallout from All Out.
Right?
Oh, that's terrible.
So yeah, it's so crazy that it's unfortunately real things that are happening. But man, yeah, people are gonna tune. People are gonna like. I'm betting you, WWE fans will be tuning in to find out how AEW handles this misstep.
You're quite possibly correct, and hopefully they see how good a couple of those matches are and decide to come back next week too, right? So
agreed.
Yeah, and unfortunately they'll also see Toni Storm and Penelope Ford and be like, "Man, we have a better women's division,"
and we will agree with them. We'll be like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yes, we agree with you. They should have put Serena Deeb versus I don't know anyone except Toni Storm. Anyway, well, we have a show to go and watch. So we're going to go and watch that now. To you, as I always say, it'll seem like we were never gone. But we'll be back in a couple hours. Let's go.
Let's do this.
And that was AEW Dynamite. And it came to us tonight from Buffalo, New York at the KeyBank Center. And let's just start off with a bit of moment here and note that they had Taz, Excalibur, and Toni on commentary to start, and JR never joined them tonight. You notice that?
Yep.
I wonder what's up with that. But anyway, maybe he was just having a nice, deserved night off. Who knows? Did you also notice they changed the opening title?
I did. Everyone
Mhm.
was removed from it. I was like, wait a minute,
Yep.
everyone's gone.
Yep. Everyone was, in fact, gone from the opening title. So yeah, they're sending a message strong and clear. So anyway, we open off the show with MJF's that answering machine message that I hated, and a recap of All Out with MJF's arrival. And we start the show off immediately with Tony Khan's address, and he's booed the minute he's on the screen by the fans. But he says that both the World Championship and the Trios Championship are vacated. The Trios match tonight, the Death Triangle versus the Best Friends, will be for the Trios Championship. I believe someone called that earlier in the night. And there will be a Grand Slam Tournament of Champions for the AEW Championship, which will feature the brackets are we have Adam Page taking on Bryan Danielson, the winner who will face Chris Jericho. Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, the winner who will face Jon Moxley, and then the winner of those matches will go on to face each other at AEW Grand Slam to crown the new AEW Championship. So, what did you think of these announcements?
I think Tony Khan's listening. I think, as I said, first thing you do is strip them of their titles, and he did. That's the first thing he did. Obviously he's not going to comment on it, and we'll get stuff throughout the night about the comments, because clearly no one's commenting on it because there's an investigation going on,
right?
He showed a bit of passion, though. Tony Khan's promos are always so weird. Maybe that's why he stays off the TV.
Yes.
But yeah, it's kind of like he promised AEW is only going to get better in the coming weeks. So you know what? Let's like hold him to that. And he obviously announcing the bracket for the championship. I was shocked actually when I saw Hangman was in there, because again, everyone knows Hangman had nothing to do with the altercation backstage.
Right.
He was not even in the building apparently. And just reports on Alex Reynolds. I looked it up. The reason why obviously Dark Order couldn't just simply get anything is because PW Insider reported they saw him leaving the hotel on, I think it was Monday, on crutches.
Oh, well,
so
that's unfortunate.
no one actually knows what's wrong. Obviously he's hurt his leg or something like that, but that's why obviously Dark Order, and we'll get to the Dark Order a bit as well.
Yes, exactly.
But I thought we said he needed to open the show, and he did. So good on Tony to actually remind everyone who the boss is here. Yes. And I think what you just said, the opening title card, no one was on it. Punk removed, Omega, the Bucks, every single one of them removed, and I was like, wow, okay, well, we're gonna see what happens.
Exactly. But you know what? Good call on Tony's part. You know, this is where they're going forward. And like you said, promises tonight will be a great night of pro wrestling on the road to AEW Grand Slam. And, this is what he needed to do. And the tournament, hey, he picked you notice who he picked in the tournament, right? It's all, either young guys who are up and comers, company guys who have had the back of the company the whole time. Like it's a very interesting mix of guys, and including Hangman Adam Page, which is a very interesting inclusion considering it's with that whole crew of guys, right?
I think this is Tony making a statement here, just saying, look at who's fighting who. Egos are aside, they're doing their job.
Yep. And as we find out during the night, they're very aware there may be a lot of extra eyes on their product tonight. And I think putting together this tournament right out of the gate and saying, hey, did you know we have Chris Jericho? We have Bryan Danielson. We have all these guys, right? And we got all these like young guys who are really good. Stick around, watch some of them.
Yeah, agreed.
So immediately after that, MJF's music hits. He comes out in a Bills Allen jersey. He hugs Taz. He gives Excalibur the finger. The crowd is going nuts. And he gets in the ring, grabs a mic. Buffalo, New York. The devil is back. Who's excited to see MJF? Lord knows I am. I've got the greatest quarterback of all time, Josh Allen. He's from Buffalo, but hey, and so people, the crowd's going nuts, right? So let's get down to brass tacks. Last time you saw me, I might have said some offensive stuff, but I think we can all agree I didn't mean it. I was just kidding. I love AEW. I'll never leave this place. And he starts an AEW chant. He goes, when I called you all stupid marks, I didn't mean it. Without you, there's no MJF. Give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, man. So I have to address the big smelly elephant in the room. And honey, I'm not talking about you. Just kidding. You're gorgeous. So he says the world title's been vacated. There's a tournament of champions to crown the champ. But there's one thing we can agree on. There's one guy that deserves it, but I work smart, not hard, because I have a chip that gets me a title shot anytime I want, and Toni is paying me a boatload of freaking money. If there's one thing I know to be true, we're not in dark times. We need leadership. There's no one more trustworthy. There was a wise Jewish man whose name started with an M. When his people needed him, he split the Red Sea. I'm not telling you I'm Moses, but I'm better than Moses. I'm Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I'm going to win that title because I'm better than you, and you know it. I'll stop there. What did you think of MJF's promo?
Totally trolling. Totally, obviously, it was hilarious. Like, I love the commentators. Like, is he serious right now? Is he really saying this stuff?
Right?
And we'll touch on this throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how he wasn't saying anything about the situation. He went out there and he talked about his situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I'm like, okay, so Tony Khan is tonight showed me they buckled down.
Mm-hmm.
They buckled down and they basically told everyone, you better, if you if I'm Tony Khan, I'm like, I dare you to go say something, right? Like, I dare you. so yeah,
he's got Homer's cut list handy, right?
Yeah. So I laughed at the opening of this promo, and honestly, what happens next, I actually cheered it. So you can continue.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you. This was hilarious. Like, for all I was down on the way he was brought out in All Out, this I was like, oh, MJF, you're such a troll. I love you. So yeah, he won me back over with this just because of how. And the thing about Moses, I laughed so hard when he goes, I'm better than Moses. Oh man. Anyway, so Mox's music hits though, and although he gets a little lost, he does find the ring, and he says one line to MJF. He goes, "You are absolutely full of crap."
Yeah.
And so Mox says, so let me get this straight, Jonathan. You think I'm not being sincere in front of Buffalo, New York? These lard asses with the worst football team in America? Josh Allen sucks. And he takes the jersey off. Now, John, I don't know if you're a little woozy from going to sleep Sunday. Maybe I don't care about AEW. Maybe I don't care about these people. Maybe the title is nothing more than a bargaining chip I can use for the bidding war of 2024. Maybe I take that title to a real wrestling company with real fans and real wrestlers like my American hero, Cody Rhodes. And maybe, just maybe, I get to work for a real boss, the only con worth a damn, jolly old Saint Nick. To quote my personal hero, the game, that is what's best for business. So Mox takes the mic again and says, dude, this is not the time and this is not the place. I'm in no mood. You need to leave this ring right now or I will make you leave. So MJF takes his shirt off, though, man, he has a battle with that shirt cuff.
Yep.
And finally gets the shirt off and bails. So what did you think of this part?
Yeah. Obviously Mox coming out, showing like the face versus heel, and that really exposing MJF for who he is. Yeah, no, I like it. I like that he's still drawing on his personal stuff, because we all know this has all been resolved, so who cares, right? But again, using real life to bring things in, and AEW, we know they're not afraid to use the competitor as much as they can,
right,
to help, right? So him, name dropping Cody, name dropping Triple H, and even Nick Khan. I think this is a smart move, right? Because again, this is taking attention away from all the other nonsense going on. Let's be real here, right?
Yep.
So I did like Mox's, I have no time for this. Get out of the ring.
Exactly. This is not the right place.
Yeah,
this is not the time. I am not in the mood.
Yeah.
Right?
I love and Mox's I was supposed to be on vacation thing, which you're probably going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, the MJF here was like, now we know. Okay, he's back. He got his pop. He handled the pop well with the whole, oh, look how awesome I'm into you, Buffalo. And then he totally turned and he did all the things that make him the worst possible kind of heel to AEW fans. And that's, hey guys, WWE's better than you and you know it.
You know it. Exactly.
Right? And it's the perfect foil for this guy. He's going to be the guy, because, there's not a lot of sports entertainment. Well, I guess there is still some, but there's less sports entertainment-y stuff going on in WWE. Now, Jericho Appreciation Society, they're not going to be quite as funny because, they don't really have the foil to act against anymore. So you do this. You do the whole, hey, look at the poster child is going to hop to the WWE. Don't you guys hate this guy? And the answer is yes. Yes, we do. We hate him because he thinks WWE is better. And we all know that's not true.
Yep.
But do you know who knows it's not true? John Moxley. Because as MJF's leaving, he yells, hey, your theme music sucks, by the way. And he goes, now, Buffalo, I am in no mood. I'm pissed off. I'm embarrassed. I'm pissed off about a great many things. Most of all, I'm here without the championship, the only material possession that matters to me. What means something to me is what the championship represents. It represents passion for this sport, passion for this business, the passion of the guys and girls in the back and the fans that fill the arena that watch from home. They are my heroes at a time. These people in the back are my heroes at a time in the pandemic when we needed heroes. We wanted to show the world when this thing started just what wrestling could be. The championship means taking the dark side of the business and letting it die. Having the freedom to be who you want to be. It's about being just a little better than the day before, about slaying demons. It represents everything I love about this business. But the fact remains, on Sunday, I lost. That's on me. I lost. I made the mistakes. I missed the game-winning shot. I was supposed to be on vacation right now until 2 days ago, but here's another chance to take another shot. Chris Jericho, he's the greatest of all time. Danielson, best wrestler to ever step foot in a ring, way better than me. These young guys, they're faster and more gifted than I'll ever be. The ace always wants the ball, though, when the game is on the line, and I want the ball. So hell yeah, I'm going to take the shot. This isn't just winning time. This is the time to be a legend.
Here's Mox kind of making his own comments on what's happened recently, right? Like, put all that nonsense behind you, all this, like, it has to be a certain way. Like, as he said, during the pandemic, we showed everyone what this company was made of. Guess who wasn't here? Just throwing it out there, right? Yeah. He says these young guys are more talented than I'll be. Do you think cares if people want to take advice from him? No. He doesn't, because he
couldn't care less.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And he's not above admitting where he's messed up and stuff like that. So this is him just again, he's calling it out. He basically saying, if you want to be here, be here. If you don't, so what? This championship is the best in the world. And basically saying AEW is still better than WWE, right? And that's it. Like that, like I'm happy. Like, again, as I said, John Moxley may not be my favorite wrestler, but man, this guy is passionate, and what he stands for is just right. So I can back Moxley. I can back Moxley to another championship win. I would be okay with that at this point, even though I have my thoughts on who's gonna win. But yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm happy. I'm happy he cut off MJF the way he did, right? Yes. And what he said, because this is how you open the show up. So I was glad that he came out.
This, yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the guy that you hand a mic to when you need a rallying cry, because what a rallying cry, right? This was basically like, look, this is what we founded AEW for. The passion, right? what wrestling can be, you know, getting rid of the dark side of the business and letting it die. I mean, what a comment that was. You know, having the freedom to be who you want to be, right? Being better than the day before. It was so good. And then the way he goes through the guys that he's up against, and he puts every one of them over. Every one of them, right? From Jericho to Danielson to all the young guys, right? And he's just like, these guys are all amazing. Some of them are more gifted than me, better wrestlers than me, a greatest of all time, but I'm going to take the ball, right? And holy crap, this guy really is like the heart and soul at this point of like what AEW represents. There's like no doubt after saying this was one of the best promos I've heard in a while. And I mean, what a guy to come out and do it at a time when the AEW just needed him to do it. It's just insanely good. Anyway, so that was the opening 20 minutes of the show.
Yep.
Which means we haven't even had a match yet.
Nope.
But we get one next. We get Death Triangle coming out with Alex Abrahan. I mean, just to pause for a moment here, how awesome is their entrance as a trios?
It's pretty cool.
I know, cool. Right? I mean, I was sitting there watching going, man, this is a really cool entrance. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and then they're taking on the Best Friends, who have Danhausen in their corner. So they did note, this is when they noted that the Dark Order was considered for this match, but Alex Reynolds is injured.
Yeah.
So we open with Penta and Orange Cassidy. Penta does the whole glove bit, and Orange Cassidy does the same thing with his sunglasses and tosses them into the crowd. But Penta takes advantage. Early on, though, we get a Orange Cassidy head scissors, but then it breaks down. There was a lot of breakdowns in this matches where everyone was just going at it. But Death Triangle goes for a triple tope, but the Best Friends manage to get back into the ring and flip them out of the ring, followed by a rocket launcher by Orange Cassidy into all three of them, sending us to commercial. We see Chuck Taylor with a huge leap from on top of the stage near the ramp down onto Death Triangle, but Death Triangle gets back control soon. Pac with a hammer throw shortly after that, hard one into the corner, but he eats a double foot stomp from Trent, countering the follow-up, who gets out to tag Orange Cassidy, but Pac levels him. Danhausen dumps on the apron then to distract Pac, but Alex Abrahantes pulls him off. So we get the Danhausen spot. Danhausen curses Alex Abrahantes. Penta comes in, Abrahantes does the Zero Miedo thing with him, but Danhausen actually punches Alex Abrahantes. Then Pac comes out and drops Danhausen, but mission accomplished. Pac was distracted. Orange Cassidy takes advantage with the diving crossbody on Pac, spinning DDT, setting him up for the Orange Punch, but Pac stops him with a kick in midair. And then Orange Cassidy with the Stun Dog Millionaire. He tags in Taylor. Penta gets tagged in. There's a half and half by the Best Friends to Ray Fenix, followed, of course, by the Best Friends hug. Baretta then gets a tornado DDT. Ray counters with a cutter, and we see a whole series. This is where it really breaks out. We see a whole series of various finishers and signature moves. Like it's the kind of series where they're all doing them to each other. Baretta then sets up for his finisher, but Penta and Pac kick Baretta in the back that puts him into a code red from Fenix for a 2 count. Just an insane spot. There's an orange punch to Penta, an awful waffle from Trent on Penta for a near fall, and Pac gets in just barely for the save. Then there was a nice set of triple super kicks to the Best Friends by Death Triangle, and then triple Canadian destroyers that just looked nuts. Fear Factor on Taylor, followed by a tope con hero to Orange Cassidy and Trent by Ray. Pac then hits the Black Arrow on Taylor for the 3 count, and we've got our new trios champions, Death Triangle. What did you think?
This match was great. I mean, I love this match. I thought it was like this. These are my type of matches, obviously, right? The weird part is that I was torn. I'm like, do I give this the match of the night? Because I called that this was going to be my match of the night, but there was another match that I actually enjoyed a bit more. And I'm not going to give this one the match of the night, even though it was like a 1A 1B kind of thing. It was just so much fun, and either of these teams could have won, and I would have been okay with it, right? Because I would have loved to see the Best Friends with the belts, I'm happy to see the Death Triangle with the belt. So you know what? At the end of the day, it didn't matter who won. I was really shocked that Pac now has the Atlantic Championship, and he's holding 2 belts at once. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm just this is great. I enjoyed this match.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and me too. It was a lot of fun. There was some really good. I love that triple destroyer. It just looked nuts with all three of them doing it. The destroyer, I think it's a little overused now, but seeing the three guys do it, that was cool, right? And I did love that whole like the kicks to launch. Was it Ray back into the code red? That looked cool. So yeah, there was some nice innovative offense in this. I enjoyed watching it. I'm happy that that Death Triangle has the belts. They're going to be hard to beat. So I think that you've got the right guys with the belts too, and we'll see what happens with these championships now. So so hey, yeah, good match, solid match. I'm surprised it wasn't your match of the night. Now I'm intrigued to find out what is. So let's move along. Yeah. So we get Toni in the back with Dark Order, but almost immediately, just as he starts to interview him, Jose, the assistant, shows up and tells Ten that he has a contract from Andrade for him. This is continuing a storyline that began last week. And Evil Luna then tells Jose, hey, look, we've already told you no, he's with us. And then John Silver cuts in and goes, hey, your last name is the assistant. Beat it. So then Andrade and Rush show up, and then John Silver just says, the only thing you're going to be speaking to at all is these fists, which pretty much ends the segment.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? They're going after 10. Like,
yeah,
I kind of feel like they just keep breaking up the Dark Order more. They lost Anna Jay. Now they potentially would lose 10. So who's the Dark Order? Uno, Silver, and Reynolds? That's it?
Oh, there's your trios.
Right? No, but that's it. That's the Dark Order altogether. That's the three of them.
It's kind of weird. Right? Yeah, from like such a big group they were before.
Yeah. But maybe 10 needs a push. This is okay. This was just okay for me. I mean, it's doing a storyline. I'm waiting to see the payout, but yeah, it was okay.
Do you really think 10's going to get a push though, being Andrade and Rush's whipping boy?
I don't know, because I mean, Rush is awesome, right? So maybe I don't know. I don't know. But Rush was awesome to begin with, so that's why he's a 10 is just a big guy, right? I don't know what they're gonna do with him. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is all about.
I mean, maybe the ultimate thing is he just stays in the Dark Order, but gets a couple matches against Rush and Andrade, right?
Maybe
that might put him over more than anything else.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. I'm somewhat intrigued, but sort of in that mid card kind of okay. So we got some stuff going on with the Dark Order and Andrade and Rush. Cool, because I like all those.
Or maybe they do recruit him and he becomes the trios partner with Andrade and Rush, right? And they go after the trios belts.
Yeah, that's interesting, because they are short a trios partner, aren't they? Yeah, interesting. It's almost like all stables now need at least 3 people.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then we get a recap of the AEW Interim Women's Championship match, and then we see a quick backstage segment from All Out where we see Jamie Hayter is refusing to talk to Britt. She's just storming out of the building with her luggage, and Britt's like running after her, apologizing, but Hayter will have none of it and leaves the building, and Britt looks pretty upset. So then we move to the match. Penelope Ford comes out with Kip Sabian taking on Toni Storm. And so they trade some holds to start off. There's a shoulder block. Ford then goes in for a handshake, but when Storm comes in and foolishly takes the hand, she kicks Storm. Big surprise. Storm drop kicks Ford through the ropes, but Ford follows up, throwing Storm into the steps, sending us to the commercial break. Ford basically controls the match through the break, but goes for a handstand into the corner when we return. Storm dodges. There's then a hip attack, and then counters Ford's Northern Light suplex into a DDT, a fall down.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't see what the heck she really did to her to, and they called it a roll up from the announcers, but somehow this pinned Penelope Ford. Yeah, it was whatever it was. It was terrible, and it was the finish, and that was your 3 count, and Toni Storm retains.
I warned you. I said, if they put the belt on Toni Storm, and she hasn't proven herself at all to be a good wrestler, this match, for the most part, had good spots because of Penelope Ford, and not because of I keep forgetting Toni Storm. Yeah, and they called it that Northern Lights suplex because they couldn't figure out how she tried to do a tornado DDT and mess it up. Right? That's what it was. It was supposed to be a tornado DDT because she jumped up and then she kind of froze. So I don't know if she didn't rotate her body or what happened, and it looked like a roll up. So I was like, okay, and that even confused the announcers. That's why they kept calling it like a Northern Light suplex, but it was not. It was literally her trying to go for the tornado DT and missing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good. There you go. So the botched match ends with a botch. So I'm like, okay, good, whatever. I'm like, I'm glad it wasn't that long. I'm glad it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was fast.
But man, like, come on, like how long are we gonna keep making excuses for her?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, it's I don't know what people see in her. And you know what's funny? I seldom hear our criticism echoed anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's weird. I just keep hearing, oh yeah, the match was this, the match was that. And then every botch is just ignored or covered up. And it's like, why do people have this love affair with Toni Storm? I don't understand it. The woman can barely wrestle.
Yep.
Right. She keeps getting in the ring with people that are vastly superior to her that have to carry her through half the match. She knows 5 moves. Someday she's going to seriously hurt someone with that hip attack.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's like, can we please put the belt on Jamie Hayter, who at least knows how to wrestle? That would be great. Did you see
that sign in the audience? Hayter should have won.
Yes. Yeah. But of course, they don't listen to those signs. They listen to other signs, which we will talk about in a bit, but they don't listen to the ones concerning the women's division.
Yeah.
So we go to the back and we have Angelo Parker and Matt Menard now. And Angelo Parker says, yeah, okay, the kid beat me, but he got his just desserts. But Action Bronson? And Matt says, you want to walk willy-nilly into our world? Not tonight, not any night. I hear you're coming to Queens soon. That's my backyard. Hook is crazy. You don't know about me.
Yeah, I don't care for this. I really don't care for this. Yeah. Why are you wasting Matt Menard and Angelo Parker like this? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no time for this either. I didn't care about Action Bronson on the pay-per-view. I don't care about Action Bronson now. I don't care about Hook in the FTW championship then. I don't care about it now. Please put Matt Menard and Angelo Parker into a program that matters. That would be great. Thanks. Yeah. There is a tag team championship out there they could be going for. Mm-hmm. I guess, Matt has to completely heal first.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, speaking of the tag team championship, the Acclaim's music hits and out he comes. Good old Max Caster with his yo, listen. And then Swerve's music immediately hits and cuts him off in the ultimate heel move that I was like, thank you, Swerve. Swerve says, I'm sorry, Buffalo. Were you here to hear more stupid, corny rap jokes from the Acclaimed? The audience begins chanting yes. He says, matter of fact, I have a joke for y'all. The crowd chants asshole. The Acclaimed is AEW tag champions. And he laughs. He goes, but for real. And then Billy Gunn cuts him off. He says, this ain't your house no more. This is Daddy Ass's town. And the crowd goes wild because the crowd has the IQ of a small peanut. I'm just kidding, Buffalo. I love you. But seriously, Billy Gunn, guys, you guys were cheering Billy Gunn calling himself Daddy Ass. Maybe I've just lost my sense of fun in the world. I don't know. But anyway. And then Bowen says, hey, because of all of you. Oh, that's so heartwarming. Arthur Ashe Stadium, New York City, the Acclaimed versus Swerve and Our Glory 2. We're taking home gold because everybody loves the Acclaimed. Now scissor me, Daddy-O. And the crowd goes wild. Boy, these guys are awesome. Sorry, the commentary was completely neutral from me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, they're pushing the Arthur Ashe rematch. Obviously, smart move. They cut off Max Caster immediately as he comes out. They have this under control. But yeah, no, this is a smart move. I mean, they gave the crowd what they wanted to do. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. They gave the crowd what they wanted.
Krishna, am I a fan?
Yes.
How come I'm not getting what I want?
Well, remember, AEW is for everyone, so you don't have to like everything, but they will have stuff for you.
But they keep giving the crowd what they want. It's Toni Storm and the Acclaimed. I don't understand. Maybe
if you were in the audience, you'd be cheering as well.
No, I wouldn't. Atmosphere. No. No. No, I would not be cheering this. The Acclaimed are done in my books, man. They are dead to me. They've gotten way too popular, way too fast. Sorry, guys, jump the shark. There are now giant sharks lying on the ramp every time the Acclaimed comes out. I also hated Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, just for the record, and Cass and Enzo. Okay, anyway, so we go in the back to see some people who are vastly superior to the Acclaimed: Chris Jericho, Anna Jay, Sammy, and Ty Mello. And so Chris is like, oh, I got the big win. I got not just a big win, I got a gigantic win over Danielson. You know, Ponce de Leon searched for the Fountain of Youth 400 years ago, but he didn't find it. But I found it, and I'm drinking it in, man. I'm the best wrestler ever. I'm the best sports entertainer ever. I'm the BWBC. Hashtag that, Tony. I'm going to go on and become AEW champ because this is my company and my locker room, and no one is taking that away from me ever.
Yeah, shots fired.
Yes. I have two little brothers though, Sammy and then Sammy comes in and says, Darby Allin, your little turtle of an ass is getting beat. Jericho, we don't like turtles. And Danny Garcia, his other little brother, you have Wheeler Yuta, but we're leaving you alone tonight. You're going to beat Yuta, but you have to do it without the Jericho Appreciation Society. Right, Sammy? Sammy at this point is completely ignoring Jericho because he's so enthralled with them, and he just goes, look how sexy we are.
Yeah, it was a funny segment, obviously with Jericho, but also a statement from Jericho, right?
Yep.
Like this is him just like with all the locker room, like this is my company, this is my locker room, right? Like that's him just saying it doesn't matter who comes in, you're not taking anything away from us, right? Like we started this, that's it. So I did appreciate that. Like they did it in such a slick way where he's doing his promo, cutting a promo against, obviously as a heel, but also cutting it, reminding everyone who started what, right? Like who was the first champion and everything like that. So yeah, no, I'm as I was looking at the bracket and I'm like, again, if Jericho won again, I wouldn't be upset. I would not be upset.
There isn't a guy in that whole bracket that I wouldn't mind seeing with the belt, which is the awesome thing about it. Every single one of those guys will at some point have a championship run, I'm sure.
Agreed.
So yeah, this was awesome. I laughed. I loved the turtle comment. We don't like turtles. So now we've got the 9 o'clock spot, which, it's always important, the next top of the hour. And you have Taz say, they're bringing out Wardlow, and Taz says, if you're new to our programming, this is the dominant TNT champion. So apparently they have decided that one way they can push their programming is to spotlight Wardlow. So we get Wardlow versus Toni Nese. Nese gets no entrance. He apparently answered the open challenge. And the match goes something like this. Nese plays with Wardlow's pecs. So Wardlow drops him with a lariat, powerbomb Symphony with 3 power bombs, and he pins Nese in a little under a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to push Wardlow as a big monster, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Wardlow fan, because remember, Wardlow cuts a little promo after this as well, right?
Yes, he does. He does.
But yeah, no, I thought again, it was so fast. Like it was, you blinked, you missed it, right? Which I'm okay with. If I blink and I miss it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I could have almost missed it. The playing with the pecs thing was hilarious. But anyway, he then grabs Mark Sterling after the match, but then Josh Woods, part of Mark Sterling's stable, comes down and pulls Sterling out of the ring before he can get powerbombed. So Wardlow grabs a mic and he goes, I've been hearing on the internet that my momentum is gone, that I should do this, I should do that. But Wardlow is the TNT champion, and it's time for me to remind them, remind the locker room, remind the fans that stuck by me since day one that this is Wardlow's world.
Yeah, good. Remind us, because we forgot because of your booking. So great.
Yes, we're happy. Your momentum is gone.
The fans were right. The fans were not wrong. Your momentum got killed, and it wasn't. I don't know whose fault it was, but yeah.
And do you know what this promo was? This was AEW showing those WWE fans that tuned in to see what the hell's going on with AEW, that we also have guys that can cut WWE promos in the ring.
Yeah, agreed.
Because this is Wardlow's world.
Yep.
So then we get the announcement we're going to have the Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara match on Rampage. And we get a quick Darby Allin promo, and he says, he notes all the things that he and Sammy have done that are similar to each other. And he goes, one thing we both haven't done is win the championship. At one time, we would have been friends, but now no one likes you. So I'm going to come out without Sting, and you should come out alone too.
Yeah. He's, Darby just cutting a regular Darby promo. Really, that's what it is. Hyping the match a bit. But yeah, I'm excited to watch these two go. They can go.
Oh yeah. Oh hell right? Yeah.
So it's going to be a good match.
Darn straight. Yeah, Rampage looks pretty good this week.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we get Bryan Danielson taking on Hangman Adam Page in the Dynamite wildcard match for the AEW Championship Tournament. I hate Bryan Danielson's theme now ever since.
Not same. So I was gonna ask you now that you know who sings it.
Yeah, I saw I'm like, dude, your song sucks. Get a new song. We get William Regal on commentary though, which is always a jam. There is a knuckle lock between Danielson and Page early on, and they exchange locks and arm holds quite a bit. There's a chop exchange, but Danielson picks Page's leg, tries to go for the Romero special, but does it kind of the halfway on and then stomps the knees down, which always looks vicious. Hangman then catches Danielson on the turnbuckle. There's a lariat on the apron, taking Danielson to the floor. Danielson dodges the dive, though, and sends Hangman's shoulder into the post as we go for commercial. And that becomes the story at this point, is that Danielson is going to pick a body part and start to work it over. And it's going to be Hangman's arm, which the story is a smart one. As Regal points out, this is the game plan, right? Work over the arm that does the buckshot lariat. So Danielson is working that arm over continuously, stomps, yes kicks. I mean, Hangman at one point catches him with a fall away slam and a cross body, but it keeps going back to the arm. There's a dead eye countered into a high stack pin for 2, and Danielson with his running drop kick series. Hangman with a power bomb counter, but Danielson counters into a head scissors and a head kick for 2, which just looked awesome. Danielson gets caught on the turnbuckle again, but Hangman with an avalanche short release fall away slam for 2 that just looked nuts. But this gives Hangman the advantage into the second commercial break. When you come back, they're face to face in the ring, and they do go through another chop exchange where as they get to their feet. Hangman with a backslide, reverse to a German, and Danielson reverses it to a German, but Hangman lands on his feet, getting off a standing Liger bomb for 2. Danielson gets Hangman into the tree of woe, yes kicks, sliding drop kick, hammer and anvil elbows on the turnbuckle, and then an avalanche back suplex. But Hangman lands on his feet again. Then there's a Hangman lariat, but Danielson kicks the arm, but Hangman manages to whirl around and a comeback lariat for a 2 count. Now, at this point, Danielson gets the label lock out of the kick out. Hangman manages to break the hold, but there's a Danielson double underhook into the Juji Gatami and then back over to the label lock again. So now it's about trying to get that submission locked onto Hangman. Hangman rolls through some knee strikes to Danielson, and this knocks them both out. They're both just dead on the ground. When they get up, there's an elbow exchange. Hangman catches him with a dead eye for a near fall, and then Hangman misses a moonsault, gets hit with a Busaiku knee, but Hangman gets knocked into the ropes and rolls out of the ring. He catches Danielson when Danielson goes for the tope and power bombs him into the apron. There's an Orihara moonsault to the outside at this point. He sets up for the buckshot, but Danielson ducks the buckshot, rolls him up with a back bridge, and gets him for the 3. Yeah. What did you think?
I love this match, and this was my match of the night. Like I people are gonna call me a Hangman fanboy, but Hangman he has won me over for a long time. Like, this guy puts on entertaining matches, right? And him versus Danielson, this was great. Like I thought this was like I didn't know who was gonna win this match. I really didn't know, right? So I was glad to see that Danielson won it, because again, I'm looking for a new champion. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this match, and this was my match of the night.
Yeah, mine too. Absolutely.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, this was 100% my match of the night. No, the story, like, look, so you know me, I love the storytelling part, right? So, this whole match was built around that story. It was like Hangman is larger than Danielson. He knows it. So, he's got to take down something. And even William Regal mentioned on commentary, go for the arm. And Danielson works that arm like nobody's business once he gets him into the post. I was impressed with the opening exchanges. Hangman is really good. He kept up with Danielson with all the back and forths and stuff like that. But he does it in his own style. He doesn't have to look like Mr. Super Cool Wrestler. He just knows how to hang with a wrestler, no pun intended. But anyway, and he sold that arm like a champ. right? I mean, his moves, and like Danielson at one point, it's like, no, go ahead, keep keep pounding me on the chest with your arm, right? Go for it. He was taking the shots on purpose, and every time Hangman was like, oh, but Hangman was kind of dumb enough to keep hitting him with the arm too, right? So, and there were so many cool spots in this match, right? Like Hangman landing on his feet out of that German off the ropes when it looked like Danielson had him dead to rights. That was just amazing, right? Like both these guys are incredible. It was such a good match, so many good moves. And you're right, I had no idea who's going to win. So that made it more intriguing too. And when Danielson caught him with the roll up, I'm like, perfect. Because one, it's not a decisive victory over Hangman. Hangman still looks awesome coming out of this. Danielson just managed. This is a day Danielson caught Hangman, right? But the next day, Hangman could catch Danielson, right? So yeah, wonderful, wonderful match. Loved it. I was all in on it. So yeah. Coming out of that, though, we get a Jungle Boy promo. And Jungle Boy says, you know, this was never about a wrestling match, Christian. It's just about prolonging the inevitable now. Fine. You go get your little surgery, and when you come back, I'll take years off your life. And you know what's funny? He says now he addresses Luchasaurus. You know what's funny? You used to carry me on your shoulders, but I carried your career. Everyone said you were a joke. Maybe what happened at All Out was a giant anchor was released from my ankles. Sometimes you can let go of your past, but sometimes you have to destroy it. That was the promo.
Yeah, no, like we always like the past promo that that Jungle Boy did face to face with Christian. We said it was kind of weak. We didn't have any feeling. This promo was way better, right? And I guess because it was like pre-recorded and stuff like that. Like I enjoyed this promo a lot more. He showed a lot more passion. He got passionate when he needed to, and then he kind of stopped back and he kind of addressed the whole, you know what, Luchasaurus? Yeah, you attacked me. You carried me on your back, but I carried your career on my back for the past 3 years. So this is great. It's setting up a good feud between Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. And eventually, I didn't realize Christian was hurt, but I guess we're going to get the Christian match eventually, right? So this is good. I'm glad they did this, and maybe Jungle Boy can have some matches without Christian and Luchasaurus for a while, and then do other things.
Yeah, exactly. That would be kind of nice. No, yeah, the promo did what it needed to do. It kept us, it reminded us that, Jungle Boy's still around. He's going to fight Luchasaurus. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. What I wasn't looking forward to was the next segment, because Stokely Hathaway comes out with his group that apparently has absolutely nothing to do with MJF. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume MJF paid these guys a lot of money to get the chip for him, because they kept these guys on other ends of the show and nothing to do with each other. So anyway, Hathaway comes out and he says, everyone wants an explanation about what I did it All Out, but it was the greatest moment of my career. And then you see this like little production assistant come running out and starts telling him, and he goes, this brother is telling me to wrap it up and we're low on time. So he ends up decking the production assistant after saying something about, yeah, you can't do this to me, I'm too important, or some stuff. And the rest of the guys beat up the production assistant. That was it.
Yeah, I didn't care for this. Like I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this, to be honest with you. And I didn't care for it at all. I was like, okay, you're gonna beat up a production assistant. You didn't give an explanation for anything. Nothing was progressed.
No. So, and I don't care about his group. Yeah. I mean, devoid of MJF leading them, there is nothing in this group I care about. Ethan Page, what are you doing?
Yeah, agreed.
That's all I have to say to this group. You were with Scorpio Sky, and now you're with Stokely Hathaway and a bunch of grunts. Congratulations on being the new factory. Yep. Enjoy your time there.
Agreed. Yep.
So we then get it announced that we're going to have Claudio Castagnoli and Dax Harwood for the ROH title on Rampage. And Claudio cuts a promo just saying the title means everything to him. And Dax counters with, I'm not the odds-on favorite, but I fight. Every night I fight with my heart, my soul, my family. If I lose, you're taking money out of my family's bank account. And Claudio's just kind of like, let's do this match.
Yeah, basically that was it. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll watch it. I mean, as I said, I keep saying Dax has been the most improved wrestler I've seen this year. So why not? Hey, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, it's another match I'm looking forward to on Rampage. It sounds like it'll be a pretty solid match. So Dax Harwood, Claudio Castagnoli, I'm in. Yep. I'm not all in, but I'm in. So now we move on to our main event of the evening. which is Wheeler Yuta taking on Daniel Garcia for the ROH Pure Championship. And it opens up, well, they do explain the rules. You only get 3 rope breaks, 3 judges in the event if there's a time limit draw. You can only get 1 closed fist punch, and then you're warned you'll be DQ'd after another one. So, and the match has to open and close with the Ring of Honor, Code of Honor handshake. We have Regal on commentary again. But then we get West Side Gun, a rapper from Buffalo who raps Daniel Garcia to the ring and has some massive posse of people in red hoodies next to the ring. Did I miss some comment about who these people were supposed to be?
I don't know. I'm assuming Daniel Garcia has something to do with it because he was wearing that Buffalo Kids t-shirt or something like that. I thought it was some type of like organization he has, and that's who they were. That's why they're all wearing the red. I didn't think they had anything to do with the rapper, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
It was just like he has a charity, and these were kids who got to come down to the show or something, which would be really cool if that's the case, and not just some rapper's gigantic posse who got front row seats for a match. But
I don't think that's the case.
I hope that wasn't the case. Anyway, there was a huge Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia was the most over guy in this auditorium tonight. He made MJF look like he had no pop. He made John Moxley look like he was nothing. I mean, Garcia was over to this crowd. So Wheeler gets an ankle lock on him early, and then we get this like collar and elbow tie up where they go all over the ring with it, like to almost every rope, and they both end up falling out of the ring in a collar and elbow tie up, and that sends it to commercial. Yuta dominates the commercial with an arm bar in the ring, which eventually makes Garcia use a rope break to get out of it. Garcia launches Yuta over the ropes. Yuta gets a reverse atomic drop back in the ring and a flying elbow for a 2 count, but Garcia does a back throw, clothesline, back suplex, lariat combo, pinning for 2. Garcia then looks for a dragon tamer, but Yuta rolls him up for 2. Then you get this German suplex series. You get Yuta with German suplex series, but Garcia reverses it, does his own series. Yuta reverses it, starts another series. Garcia does it, reverses it, does another series, but then eventually gets an avalanche release German on the top rope. Both guys are down. We go into commercial break number 2. So Garcia, and you see him during the commercial, he steps on Yuta's head on the turnbuckle, gets him into a superplex. Both of them are down again. You see him get up. They're both slapping each other, like just exchanging these insane slaps back and forth. Garcia ends with a slap down and calls for the 10 count. Yuta gets up at 8, though. Garcia locks the dragon tamer on him, but Yuta gets to the ropes for rope break number 1 for Yuta. Yuta then does a closed fist punch to drop Garcia, gets his warning. So if he does another closed fist punch, he's disqualified. Garcia counters, puts Yuta into the Dragon Tamer again. Yuta counters into a crossface in a nice transition, and he goes for the seat belt that he won previous matches with, but only gets a 2 count here. Garcia then gets the Dragon Tamer again, and Garcia gets his head cut into a neck crank as he goes back, but Garcia shifts his hips, and this causes Yuta to tap as the pressure is just too much, and Daniel Garcia is your new Ring of Honor Pure Champion.
Yeah, this match was good. Like, this was a really good match. I knew Daniel Garcia was not going to lose this match. Good for him. Wheeler Yuta and him are such great young talents. And that's what AEW showed today, that hey, we have great young talent, right? So that we can use at any time. Yeah, and I like this match. It obviously was my favorite match because I think I chose a Hangman match over this. But yeah, no, good job, good storytelling, which we will talk about in a bit. And great win for Garcia.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really enjoyed this match a lot. I love good, solid wrestling matches. There was a lot of counters, and everything looked crisp. Everything looked sharp. These 2 guys are just so good. All right. And I mean, yeah, I found that there was maybe a couple slower points in the match a bit, but overall it kept my interest. It kept me going. Both guys are just wearing each other down. I would have liked to see a little more intrigue around some of the rules maybe, but at this point I'm nitpicking. I really enjoyed the match. It wasn't my match of the night, as I had predicted it would be at the beginning, but it was up there. It was in the top 3 matches on the night, right? With the trios match, this one, and Danielson and Why is
Hangman.
my brain going into mush? Thank you, Danielson and Hangman. So yeah, but after the match, speaking of Danielson, he comes down to the ring, and Yuta kind of shoves Danielson out of the way so he can observe the code of honor with Garcia. But then Yuta just kind of retreats into the corner and just sits there watching everything. Danielson then takes the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, puts it on Garcia, and arm raises it. Jericho comes down towards the ring, and he's yelling, "What are you doing?" to Garcia. And Yuta just continues to sit in the corner. And the show, that's it, goes off the air.
Yeah, and William Regal making the comment, we don't want Daniel Garcia in the Blackpool Combat Club because we want wrestlers like him to face off against, to have wrestling matches against. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good way of stating it.
Yes.
But yeah, this is just dragging that storyline along. I'm very curious what's going to happen next week when it's Danielson versus Jericho to see who advances. But yeah, no, this I thought it's advancing the story.
I'm intrigued because I'm not so sure because, William Regal says we don't want him in the Blackpool Combat Club. But Danielson's whole point has been trying to get him into the Blackpool Combat Club. And you just sitting there just kind of going, what the hell's going on? Right? Like it was hard to read Yuta in all of this. He could be going any direction. And you got Mox off, being the center of the company, and, Claudio off kind of doing his thing. And it's like, is something going to happen? I guess we shall see.
We will see. But I'm actually thinking that AEW may put the belt on Danielson. The reason for that, I think Mox has earned a little vacation. Like, this guy's been going for a while now, filling in whenever someone gets hurt, something like that. Danielson got injured, so he got better, which is great. But I have a feeling that there's going to be a feud between Jericho and Garcia. Garcia costing Jericho his title, but Garcia's whole thing is he doesn't want to cheat, right? But maybe he won't cheat, but he'll just cost, like, Jericho will blame him for the loss. But I do see, for some reason, I just see Mox versus Danielson. Like, it's gonna be weird, the Blackpool Combat Club versus each other, and I feel that Danielson's gonna win this tournament.
Yep. You know what? I don't think you're wrong. It hadn't even dawned on me when I saw the bracket that Danielson could be the champion, but the more I think about it, the more I think you're correct. Right? I think this is going to be Danielson's tournament. It is his time to be the champion. And I think that would make a pretty compelling champion right now. You're right, because Mox, he even commented in his promo, he had to give up a short vacation for this.
Yeah,
he's earned a vacation. So, maybe it's time for him to go home and spend a little bit of time with his new daughter and stuff, right? Exactly. And, get a little bit of time off, rest and recoup, and come back again after, however much time he needs. And then Danielson with the belt. That's a very interesting idea, right? The one guy out of the ones they did bring in during All Out last year, who's still around and able to wrestle and seems to be doing really well in the company and puts on great matches week in and week out.
Exactly.
So having him as the champion and having him defending that belt regularly, that sounds awesome to me. Yep. So that was Dynamite. Yeah, what'd you think overall?
I thought it was a good show. I didn't know how they were going to handle it, and they handled it professionally. They handled everything professionally. So kudos to Tony Khan with that, taking control of his company finally. Jesus, right? And I thought they did a good job. I thought they showcased again, hey, Elite, hey, Punk, guess what? You guys are not the only people we have here.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Big statement there. Big statement. Yep. And just hearing Jericho and hearing Mox, like, reminding CM Punk who started this, not you, right? So like, take your ego out of it. Like again, look at what Jericho's doing. Yeah, Jericho's in the tournament. We all know Jericho's not going to win the belt. It would be funny if Jericho won the belt, but he's not going to win the belt. Yep. He's willing to now go on and have a regular feud with Daniel Garcia. He doesn't need to be the guy at the top. He's the one helping these young guys. He was standing beside 3 of them. Right? Yep. So, I kind of feel like that was like a call out to Punk as well, and saying, hey, look at me. I'm promoting 3 young people around me. You said you were going to come in and do this. What have you done so far?
Well, precisely. And then you look at Moxley cutting the promo and like just putting everyone over. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, doesn't matter. Good guys, bad guys, doesn't matter. These guys are awesome. You know, these guys are great wrestlers. They're faster than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, it's wonderful to see that. I think this show did everything it needed to do. Like you said it correctly. It was professional. It demonstrated that Tony Khan's in control of the company again. And it demonstrated that, hey, you know what? We have a hell of a group of wrestlers here. We have young talent. We have amazing talent. You know, like they all got to shine. Darby Allin had a promo. MJF had a promo. Jungle Boy had a promo, right? I mean, Sammy Guevara was out there. So there's your 4 pillars they kept talking about. And all 4 of them spoke tonight.
Yep.
Right? And then you got the big guns, right? And you got Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta highlighted, right? You got it mentioned. Claudio Castagnoli's here. They gave you Wardlow. They gave you the Acclaimed. They gave you Swerve in Our Glory, right? Or Swerve Strickland, anyway. But they gave you all of that. There really was something for everybody on tonight's show, too. So, I mean, if you were going to put on a showcase of, hey, world, you know all that crap that's been in the media the last few days? Yeah, we got it. Don't worry about it. We're doing fine because I really enjoyed tonight's show.
Same.
And they got me to not worry about all the crap and they got me to enjoy some wrestling.
Yeah.
So with that, we have come to the end of our show tonight. But that just means it's time for our phrase that summarizes the evening. Krishna.
The phrase to summarize this evening, I do have a phrase. Whose house, not Swerve's house, this is Khan's house. And I think he made quite the statement today to remind everyone, even though he does it in this little weird way, that he's the boss and that's it. Like, that's where the buck stops, right? So I was glad he was there. I was glad he addressed the audience. I was glad he didn't draw attention to anything, even though I thought, hey, everyone's going to talk about it. But he's smarter than that, right? And he wisely didn't make any accusations from the beginning, removing everyone out of the opening segment, made a statement. So whose house is this? It's Khan's house.
Right. No, good point. Good point. And my phrase to summarize the evening for me is in imitation of one of my favorite people from All Out, one of my favorite people that was in Chicago last week. First he had a sign, then he had a shirt, and it said, just enjoy wrestling.
Yep. Agreed.
Because man, exactly. We just need to enjoy ourselves some wrestling. There's a reason we're all fans. There's a reason we all care. We're very passionate.
Exactly.
So, and I have not excluded the Elite from our ending because I do not cancel the Elite. Because we go where the Elite goes. And as the Great One always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.